Person in Person is brought to you by the Perineum Group, the only truly centrist news organization.
That's right, Greg. We're in the sweet spot between partisan extremes. When tain't the left and tain't the right.
It's Perineum.
Tonight, on Person in Person, I'm Cluckin It.
Everybody vote the Dinosaur.
Today's show is brought to you by the letter D.
Kiwi loves chicken.
Shh, I hear mushrooms.
Cloudy with a chance of iguanas.
All these stories plus weather, sports, food crime, and stayed up. That's tonight
on Person in Person.
Good evening wherever you are, whoever you are, and welcome to Person in Person. I'm Gene Person.
And I'm Greg Person.
No relation. Person in Person is a news show for people who don't like news shows, by people who don't like news shows. No lofty aspiration to journalistic integrity here. We pick and choose the stories we talk about. It's funnier that way. The first week of January was bizarre. It was honestly a pretty crappy week for me, Greg. Lots of small, bad things happened. My bed broke. I had a couple of bad conversations at work. Just nothing was good or great in my immediate world. How about you?
I'm actually doing okay. I got back into Skyrim, and that's pretty much been my life for the last few days.
Well, fuss ro da. It's main news. Our first story tonight in Washington Township, New Jersey. Some chickens apparently started going apeshit in a McDonald's parking lot, attacking customers there and in the drive-thru. Police responded to a 911 call, and an animal control officer answered. He was able to capture 2 of the chickens. Those chickens are safe, and they now seek the owners of the animals before putting the birds that were captured up for adoption. So this isn't the first story we've seen like this, where animals just go crazy. Animal attacks are starting to become a weekly feature on this show. Maybe this is Mother Nature fighting back for all the awful things humans do.
I'm telling you, it's a zoo situation. You need to get on Netflix and watch Zoo. It'll lay it all out for you. That is the handbook for the future.
The news story ended with a cutesy remark about McChicken sandwiches, but maybe this was don't make us fucking nuggets. Maybe it was cluck the police. Maybe the chickens have just had it. I don't know. I just don't appreciate the smarm.
I mean, these chickens chose to attack a McDonald's for a reason. And that reason is McNuggets.
The McChicken is okay. It's the nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, you got those buttermilk tenders, but like, that's just chicken fingers and you can get those better anyway. It's the nuggets. That's what people go to McDonald's for, and that's what the chickens are most afraid of.
So is the image of chickens going berserk in a parking lot at a McDonald's kind of funny? Yes. Especially since at least one suburban dad probably made a joke about eating the chicken's family. And we ask why they attack.
See, that's the thing. Like, it's funny to us. It's not funny to the chickens. They're trying to throw off the yoke of their oppressors.
The yoke of their oppressors.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. That was beautiful. Thank you. Well executed. This rage virus thing is now present in rodents, kangaroos, and birds. What's next? Children?
Children don't already have a rage virus?
It depends on whether or not he's getting a chocolate milk in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like that.
Anyway, it's a little bit of a chicken shit start to the show, but on to the next story. Greg?
Okay, well, this is also, in a way, sort of related to birds. Giant prehistoric birds. Because in Massachusetts, State Representative Jack Lewis is asking folks to vote on a state dinosaur. There's 2 that have been selected with the help of local paleontologists. They are Podokesaurus holyokensis, which is a small bipedal carnivore. And then there's Ankylosaurus polyzelus, which is a slightly larger, long-necked herbivore. So one way or the other, Massachusetts is about to have a state dinosaur, one of only 12 states that has a state dinosaur. New York doesn't have a state dinosaur, so the Massachusetts dinosaur won't have to have an inferiority complex.
Well, I think the New York State dinosaur was Ed Koch.
Oh, see, that's going to be a deep cut for our audience because they were all born in like 1996.
We don't know that. I think every state should have a state dinosaur. I guess they have several because, Congress.
Oh, with the biting political satire tonight. Jeez. Save some for Bill Maher, why don't you?
Well, he's kind of a misogynist, that Bill Maher.
And a transphobe, and an Islamophobe, and a dirty, dirty lib. We are not going to be invited onto his show. You're right, though. Every state should have a state dinosaur. This is actually something that I was thinking about as I was preparing the story. Paleontologists, what else are you doing all day? Digging up dinosaur bones. Guess what? They've been there for 65 million years. They'll keep for a couple of weeks while you get on the horn with your congressman and tell them what the state dinosaur should be for all 50 states.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you have to have some kind of life. Otherwise, well, life is going to find a way.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Ian Malcolm. Not a paleontologist, but still the smartest guy in that dinosaur movie, for sure.
Chaotician, Greg.
Well, I don't subscribe to Chaos. No, we can't just quote the whole movie. We'll be here all night.
I used to subscribe to Chaos, but then, they went bi-monthly, and I was just like, it's too much money for what I'm getting.
Right, because you're still paying the same subscription. Stupid. You may not know, we, in our state, Gene, we don't have a state dinosaur, but we do have a state fossil. But it's a fossilized tree.
Interesting. I used to pretend that a couple of trees in my parents' front yard were dinosaurs when I was younger. Not too young. I wasn't like 5 or anything. I was 19, but I'm a kid at heart.
Right. I can see that happening. You get a couple tabs in you, and all of a sudden you're thinking, hey, maybe those trees are dinosaurs. Our tree, though, is the Metasequoia. Flourished in the Miocene epoch between 25 and 5 million years ago. Now, I'm on board with you, though, with the fossilized trees, because I do agree that giant trees are really just kind of like giant, still, quiet dinosaurs.
Right. Not so still if they sway in the breeze, although if they're fossilized, there's less of that. I've always been a fan of self-referential trees. So Danish Kids TV has gotten weirder. A new animated series has debuted for children 4 to 8 years of age. The series is about John Dillerman, the man with the world's largest penis. A penis so long, it causes him all kinds of hardships and seemingly has a mind of its own. Okay, so first question, what the fuck? Like, I want to have insightful probing questions for this, but I think about it and the dad/protector in me just gets so fucking mad.
Well, I mean, roughly half of all kids have a penis.
That's true, but here's the thing. I'm a progressive parent. I don't believe kids should feel ashamed of their parts. That's not what I'm angry about. There's a threshold, though, because I'm also teaching my kids other lessons, like the importance of consent. And it's kind of hard to do if their favorite show stars some hung Waldo who literally can't control his dick.
Well, presumably, though, there's not going to be any, sexual misconduct on the children's show.
No, but it still sends the message that it's okay to not be in control of your penis. And that's not a lesson I want to impart. What's more, this happened in the middle of a big Me Too movement in Denmark.
I mean, I could potentially see a situation where a lot of little kids are getting their dick out.
Right. The studio responsible dismissed the criticism by saying that the show could just as easily have been about a woman who has no control over her vagina. And the most important thing is that kids enjoy the show. But my next question, Greg, is what the actual fuck?
It's a fair question, honestly. I do want an answer to it.
Oh, to sit in on a pitch meeting for Danish TV because they're really quite apparently fond of pitchers. But really. So how do we get the important genital message into the Care Bear stare? For fuck's sake.
I don't know. I want to watch a couple episodes of this show and see what direction they go in with it. Maybe I'll be like, oh, this is wholesome and delightful. Like, I don't see it going that way, but maybe.
Yeah, let's go on. I'm going to take a few deep breaths while you read the news.
Now, this actually harkens back to our McDonald's chicken rebellion that you covered a minute ago. It's Do you ever notice how this happens? Because we don't like collaborate on these stories as we're putting them together.
No,
but we do.
We sort of just pick out our stories and then send a basic summary to each other, and then our notes. But action is all done independently. We source our stories quite separately.
But what's interesting though is that week to week, I have noticed that we do have certain themes for each week, and it's like there's a zeitgeist that we're tapping into that's saying, okay, this week is about chicken nuggets,
right? And that's kind of crazy, but that's just how it's playing out. I think that every week there's the theme of animals going freaking berserk, but maybe that's just the kind of reporting that we do.
Well, and this story is a little bit of a turning of the tables, because this is a human going berserk on some animal flesh.
Okay.
Nella Zisser, who is a beauty queen and a med student from New Zealand, she set a world record for speed nugget consumption. She ate 16 McNuggets in 1 minute.
Wow.
I know. It's like 16 nuggets. I can house 16 nuggets basically by accident. But in a minute, no, I can't. I can't do that.
No, that's really impressive.
And there's actually video of her doing the feat. You can watch it on YouTube. She had a cup of water to choke them down, but no sauce. Because, of course, the dipping is going to add valuable seconds.
Sure.
Did you know, I looked this up on the McDonald's New Zealand website. Apparently, the only sauces they have are barbecue and sweet and sour, your most basic sauces.
I kind of like the McDonald's sweet and sour.
Thing is, I do like it. If they don't have hot mustard, which is my favorite, I'll opt for the sweet and sour.
Sure. But
it is a little bit too sweet for me.
That's true. It does cloy just a bit.
It has a bit of an apricot jam vibe to it.
Yeah. It's a little more, candied yam than just sweet potato.
Exactly. And that's why I like the hot mustard, because it gives some body and some heat to the chicken. God damn it, I want some nuggets.
Yeah, I'm so hungry for chicken nuggets right now.
Oh, I'm dying. Why did I do this to myself? Now, this is another case though, and this is the same thing I said about the guy who caught the eggs in his mouth. This is a case where she's got a YouTube page, but what she really ought to have is an OnlyFans page. Because
you mentioned she was a beauty queen. Is this, Greg, just you trying to see her naked?
No, I don't even need to see her naked. I'm already super impressed with the incredible, weird diversity of her various feats.
Sure.
Like, I would pay to just see her wolf down nuggets.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There should be an OnlyFans for competitive eating of certain things.
Yeah, I mean, like food items. My main wrap-up for this story about the McNugget eating beauty queen is, like I said, I'm impressed with you. I do want to remind our listening audience that I am single. I assume that she is listening. I know that we do have listeners in New Zealand. She's probably one of them.
Actually, we don't have any tracked downloads from New Zealand, but you never know. She could be visiting Virginia or Ohio or one of the other states where we get a couple of weekly downloads.
She's probably visiting, she's probably doing a world tour to capitalize on all of her amazing accomplishments.
Yeah, well, we've had downloads in Japan, we've had downloads in France, we've had downloads in United Arab Emirates.
She's probably vacationing in the United Arab Emirates, and she's listening right now. Nella, I just want to say, I'm not impressive in any way, but you should at me.
All right, now that that's out of the way, on to the next story. So a Vietnamese man went in to see his doctor, complaining of constant ear pain and itching. And while the doctor was checking the patient's ears, he was surprised to find little mushrooms growing in there.
Oh, God.
The doctor examined the man with an endoscope and found the mushrooms measuring 2 centimeters, growing right next to the man's eardrum. So there's your problem.
Jesus.
This is thought to be the result of sharing hygiene equipment. Otomycosis, as fungal infection of the ear is known, is fairly common, but doesn't always present as full-on freaking mushrooms. Okay, so deep breath. I'm going to get these all out.
Okay.
That patient is a fun guy. There isn't much room to grow in the ear canal. And are we sure this wasn't Dr. Mario?
I hate absolutely everything about this story and about what you just did.
Next point. This happened as a result of sharing hygiene equipment, so I'm starting to understand how recycling used condoms can be a thing over there.
Oh my god. Can you imagine I can't even finish my sentence. I'm grossed out so badly. So badly am I grossed out by this story.
It really is. So this is pretty much the most disgusting story we've ever covered. And last week we did a story about literally eating shit.
Yeah, and I was fucked up about that one, and this is so much worse for me. Something about this, about the idea of mushrooms growing in your ears, just I genuinely can't.
Well, I'm sure those mushrooms have since been treated and are out, so he'll probably be okay, provided, he doesn't swap Q-tips with someone else.
Well, but here's my question. If he got the fungus from sharing his hygiene tools, that means the people he's been sharing with have also got the fungus now.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, God. And what if they give it to other people? What if this is the new COVID, Gene?
What if we're all facing down the ear mushrooms?
I can't. I mean, like, I have usually a pretty high tolerance for body horror, but for some reason, this story is hitting me in a way that I do not care for.
Wow. Well, I certainly wasn't meaning to scare you away with the story or to put you off of it, or certainly to put you off of recording with me. But it is one of the more interesting stories I've read in terms of just sheer... I've never heard of anything like this.
But I mean, that is the kind of thing that you go into medicine for, right? To peek inside someone's body and be like, what the fuck?
Right. At least in Vietnam.
I would say anywhere. Like those are the cases where you're like, I'm gonna write a paper about this.
Right.
It's gonna have pictures. I'm gonna get invited to speak at conferences.
I'm gonna make myself a nice stroganoff.
Gene, if we were in the same room, I would spritz you with a water bottle right now. I need you to settle down on that shit.
All right, on to our next story, Greg.
So it's gotten a bit chilly down in Florida this time of year, and the weather service there is warning people that it's going to get cold enough periodically to cause iguanas to fall out of the trees.
Sure. Well, you can't say blizzard without saying lizard.
That's true. That is literally true. But so for a little background, iguanas are an invasive species in Florida. They're not native to the area, but people get them as pets, and you know, of course, they're well suited to the tropical climate, so they've just multiplied like crazy. And but because it does get chilly there, and the iguanas are cold-blooded, and they don't like hibernate or make nests underground or anything like a lot of lizards do, they get so cold that they basically go into comas. And they fall out of the trees and they die.
It's kind of heartbreaking.
It's a bummer. And because the iguanas are about 10 pounds, you know, if one falls 20 feet out of a tree and hits you in the head, you're going to feel it.
Yeah. So
they're warning people, be on the lookout for falling iguanas. But here's the good news.
Okay.
There's a silver lining to this story. Because the iguanas are an invasive species, there is no limit to how many that you can hunt or trap or just pick up off the ground if they happen to fall out of a tree. And in that case, you've got yourself a free, delicious, protein-rich meal. But, and this is a PSA I want to have for our listeners, the outside of the iguana, its skin is covered in deadly bacteria. So don't let your pets chew on them. This is a huge problem they have down there. Dogs in particular will start chewing on these dead iguanas, and they'll give themselves a nasty case of botulism. So if you are going to take the iguana, wash your hands after you handle it, and, you know, skin it and clean it thoroughly, all that kind of thing. And do not let your pets chew on an iguana under any circumstances.
Understood. Okay.
Now, good news for us, Gene. We're going to be selling Iguana Helmets in our online store, which we definitely have because it's real.
Now I have to build an online store, I guess.
Yeah, you weren't like busy or anything. It's fine. Now, people are asking already, Are these going to be human-sized helmets to protect the humans from falling iguanas? Or are they going to be iguana-sized helmets to protect the iguanas from getting hurt when they fall out of the trees? The answer is both. We are covering all of our bases here, people, and you're going to want to make sure to buy, a human-sized iguana hat for every member of your family, and an iguana-sized iguana hat for, just as many iguanas as you can find. Just go nuts. Fortunately, those ones, they're small, so we're selling them in bulk.
All right.
Did you know, Gene, that when the Bible talks about manna from heaven, it actually meant iguanas?
No, I thought it meant the blue potion so I can continue casting spells.
No, in this case, it's in the desert in Israel in the Bible. It was iguanas falling out of the trees because, the desert, it gets very cold at night.
Sure.
So the iguanas would fall out of the trees and the people would gather them up. Num, num, num. Just a little Bible trivia for you.
Yeah, but
there.
Isn't manna bread?
It's lizards.
All right.
Lizards, actually.
On to our first bonus story. Humans won't be the only ones in face masks soon. A new mask that captures cow burps proves to be an unlikely but possibly effective method at reducing greenhouse gases. Methane, which cows produce 37% of, is 21 times more effective than carbon dioxide at trapping heat in our atmosphere. Farts get all the blame, but 95% of that methane comes from cow burps. This device detects, captures, and then oxidizes the methane. It shows efficacy of reducing about 53% of the methane produced by the cows. So is it perfect? Absolutely not, but we'll take it. Anything we can do to reduce the methane is probably worth it as long as, and this is an important sticking point, it doesn't interfere with the cow's right not to wear a face mask.
Well, I've seen pictures of these face masks, and it looks like the cow's face is actually mostly uncovered. So I feel like its constitutional rights are still intact.
Okay, but will the cows really wear the mask? I don't know. At this point, we need to be employing every strategy we can to combat global warming. So maybe we mandate face masks on cattle? Will they fight it? I don't know. I mean, they're cows, not sheep.
Well, some of the cows aren't going to wear the masks. The ones that subscribe to Mooanon.
Sure.
They're not going to go for it. Did you like that one? I was very proud of that.
No, that was delightful. Mooanon.
Okay.
Cut and print.
Mooanon.
This tech is marketed by a company called Zelp out of the UK. I see you, UK, trying to redeem yourselves. So this is one win. We'll call this a make good on shid kicking. You still have a lot to atone for, but keep up the good work.
Now, Gene, I have a beef with this story.
Well, steer clear of your beef.
Well, my beef is this. Do you know what reduces 100% of methane emissions from a cow? If you really want to reduce methane production from cows, we're going to need to have fewer cows.
Well, sure, of course. But I mean, that's getting into territory where you're asking people to change their habits. And we have to do something to provoke all these animals to destroy us.
That's true. Do you think the cows are just going to wake up and find that they've got a face mask on and be like, and what's this bullshit
Right.
now?
I mean, one of the requirements of being in an 80s slasher movie is that you are wearing a mask or makeup of some kind. And so they've already got a leg up in that regard.
Oh no, Milker Myers.
Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Bessie Kruger.
That's nice. I like that one. Jason Voorhees?
Okay, we'll take it. It's not as good as your first one, but we need all of these. All of these. Line them up in a row.
Everything stays in, Jerry. Don't touch it.
What's your bonus story, Greg?
So this one comes to us from Australia, just outside the town of Darwin. There was a fella out on bail on some armed robbery and some additional charges, and he had an ankle monitor on while he was out on bail. Cuts off the ankle monitor, decides he's going to go hide in the wilderness, which in Australia.
In Australia.
Yeah.
It's going to go hide in the wilderness. Okay.
So, fortunately for him, he was found several days later, hiding in a mangrove. He was naked for some reason. They never did figure out why he was naked. He was dehydrated and trying very hard not to be eaten by a crocodile that was like right there in the river.
Yeah, of course.
So he was found by fishermen, given a beer, and taken to hospital, which is the usual outcome for emergencies in Australia.
It does seem like a lot of our Australian stories involve beer or animals, but I love this one because it's both.
I mean, I gotta be honest, I hate the way they talk, but I do kind of want to kick it there someday because it seems like they're all having a pretty good time.
Yeah. As long as I don't get bitten by something extremely venomous, I'll be okay with it.
Oh, I mean, which you almost certainly will.
Yeah.
Like, when I say I want to go kick it there, I mean I want to kick it there.
Oh, right. Okay. Understood.
I'm going there to die.
Right.
Now, I get the impulse to go out into the wilderness to hide because you're thinking no one's going to find you. But that's also the exact reason why you shouldn't go hide in the wilderness.
Yeah, especially in Australia, where there are so many things that can kill you.
Now, I think he should get credit toward time served because Australia itself is the ultimate prison.
Well, it's the ultimate prison if you don't count a house in Vermont.
That's true. Well, I mean, but this is a country that was, that they completely colonized and depopulated for the purpose of making it a prison.
Right.
And it seems like it mostly still is.
Yeah.
So I think everybody there should be getting credit toward time served.
Sure. Why not? Everyone in Australia gets credit toward time served. While we're at it, we should make them listen to 2 hours of Baby Shark on a loop.
No, that's cruel and unusual. I think we already ruled on this that we weren't going to do that to anybody.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, Gilligan's Island theme.
I love the Gilligan's Island theme.
So do I.
I miss the days of TV theme songs that would explain to you what the show was about so that you wouldn't be scared and confused when it started.
It was such a fun convention. Yeah, it's sad that trope has gone the way of the dinosaur. But maybe we'll all have official state TV themes.
Oh, I love The State. That was a great show. Are they bringing that? Are they bringing that
such
back?
a good show. No, they're definitely not.
I was thinking, though, this guy must have been in a pretty bad way to go straight to the hospital because he had to know that the cops were going to be right there waiting for him. And indeed they were. Mm-hmm. So he was, he got there and they basically got him a bed and handcuffed him to it. So he had to have been pretty bad off, roughly as bad as any American who has to go to the hospital, because we know in both cases that your life is going to be utterly ruined.
Very true. Very, very true. Different reasons, but this is an astute observation, my friend.
Indeed.
Greetings, gentle listeners. If you enjoy this podcast, you may also like Brose, a mirthy talk show starring 4 bros who sip wine and consider questions submitted by you, the audience, about current events, pop culture, and which Muppet you should get tattooed on your back. Subscribe to Brose wherever you get your podcasts. That's BROSE. Brose, the podcast for those who drink rosé.
All right, that's it for our main news segment. On to the emotional weather. This week, for emotional weather, we've chosen Hateful, Grateful, and Fateful. Hateful. Anthony Q. Warner, the band responsible for the bombing in downtown Nashville, likely believed in aliens and lizard people based on his writings. So, can we finally stop pretending that this conspiracy theory-linked behavior is just harmless kook stuff? Between Q Warner and QAnon, we've seen a lot of violence lately, built on the backs of bullshit, and it belies the idea that Alex Jones purports that it's all just entertainment, nobody can take it serious.
Well, I think it's crazy enough, this stuff, that you're only going to catch the really disturbed people.
Right.
And when you do, you can say, oh, well, I had no idea that was going to happen.
Right, but that we need to remove the margin of plausible deniability in there because it's all implausible deniability. You know exactly what might happen.
All the same, though, I think you can't just say, well, that's not true and it's crazy, therefore you can't say it. Because if we can't ever say crazy things, then as a society, we can't make any progress.
Yeah, at that point, we've really, really watered the grapefruit.
I beg your pardon? I've never heard that expression.
I haven't either. I was trying to say something crazy.
Well, it worked. Congratulations.
It's just another rainbow in a pig.
I'm becoming uncomfortable now.
Trash cans, Greg.
Trash can. Mm-hmm. Amen, brother. In similar, dark and upsetting news, because we have Hateful on our emotional weather this week, the Jewish Telegraphic Agency has published a helpful guide to identifying all the hate group iconography that was on display at the coup or putsch or whatever the hell we decide to call it, this thing that happened at the Capitol the other day.
Sure.
Unsurprisingly, when you know how to decipher the meanings of all these insignia and tattoos, a lot of these people are Nazi shitheads.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's almost like this whole, QAnon Stop the Steal conspiracy was just a way to try to launder white supremacy into the mainstream discourse.
You mean like pretty much everyone who isn't one of these people has been predicting for ages?
Yeah, exactly. Weird, huh?
Yeah, I'm shocked.
What a terrible time to be alive.
It really
honestly. But we're going to keep on trucking, folks, because time only goes in one direction. So every day we move forward is a day further away from yesterday.
And that will make us grateful. Our next emotion. Dr. Nicholas Christakis of Yale University believes that just around the corner, we're going to be done with the pandemic, and it will beget an orgy of sex and spending that counters the conservative socialization of the past. He argues that it's a natural consequence following times such as this. I'm a little concerned that all that fucking is going to bring a new pandemic, but we'll worry about Dildovid when we get through COVID. Still, I have one response for the doctor regarding this prediction of his. Duh!
When people are allowed to be within arm's reach of each other again in a public place, it is going to get downright uncomfortable.
Right.
It's going to be handsy.
It's going to be a naked, sweaty mass. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, well, the downside is there's also that all those drug-resistant STDs out there now. So we all want to get through this thing and be safe and healthy again. And I just want to tell you, wrap it up, folks.
Yeah.
When you're back out there again, wrap it up.
Bag it before you tag it.
Mm-hmm. So I want to tell you, I'm grateful for Alex Trebek.
Oh, yeah. I love Alex Trebek.
Yeah, he's, I was one of these kids. I watched Jeopardy just about every night with either my dad or my grandma, depending.
Yeah, same here.
And I just loved how smart and suave he was. And in his last address to the public, he encouraged people to reach out to those around them with a spirit of compassion and generosity. Really, right up to the very end, he was thinking of other people. He was a genuine mensch, a great guy. And so we are poor for his absence, but we're grateful to have had him.
Absolutely.
And I guess Katie Couric is going to be the first guest host of Jeopardy.
What is a really bad idea, Greg?
Well, I mean, it's got to be somebody. I'm in the camp of people who think LeVar Burton should host Jeopardy.
Yeah, I'm all about LeVar Burton hosting Jeopardy.
Or hosting anything. He could host this show. I will quit if LeVar Burton wants to do it instead.
I will quit too. LeVar Burton, this is your open invitation. It's turnkey.
Yeah, we did all the big stuff already. You literally just sit down in front of a mic, which I know you already have because he records the excellent podcast LeVar Burton Reads.
Sure.
It's basically story time for adults. Mm-hmm. He just reads you a story that he loves, and there's deep breathing. It's incredibly soothing.
He and Alex Trebek and Mr. Rogers, we have this undercurrent of positive male role models in this country to at least help some people gravitate toward and away from, your Alec Baldwins, your Matt Lauers, and all these scumbags out there.
There's a ton of creeps in the world, but there's a handful of real human beings walking the earth, people. And if you know one, just go up to him and give him a handshake or whatever the socially distant equivalent is now and say, you know what? You're a real human being, and I appreciate you.
Sure. Fateful. I have chosen a Maryland, quote, man involved in the sacking of the Capitol decided to wear his workplace badge in the mayhem. The company who employed him, Navistar, found out about it because he was photographed with the badge prominently displayed. As you might expect, this man was fired, so now he's unemployed. Yay!
This has actually been my favorite side story of this whole fracas, is the fact that these people
Yeah.
they're so against masks that they didn't even want to mask up to go commit crimes.
Right. And now they're all being arrested. And it's been delightful not just to watch the stories about them, but the reaction to those stories in some cases is really, really funny.
Mm-hmm. And I have no patience for, the liberals who are mad about these people getting doxxed or fired or, trolled online or whatever, because consequences. Yeah, terrible to take away someone's livelihood just because they tried to kill a congressman. Well, my fateful story, Nikki Condon of North Carolina, she bought a lottery ticket and won $200. Nice. So when she went to cash it the next day, she decided just to go ahead and buy another one for fun. And she won $100,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, if she keeps going at that rate, I don't know what her ticket is the next day. I haven't done the math, like 50 million. Nikki, someone is doing something for you or to you by means and for reasons that are beyond our comprehension. So I hope it all works out.
Well, as you know, every week, our investigative team presents a detailed and harrowing story on food crime. This week, Greg Person has the story.
Folks, I want to talk to you about a traditional Icelandic dish you've probably heard of before if you're the kind of person who watches food programming. I'm going to try and pronounce it Hakarl. It's spelled Hakarl. It's fermented shark meat.
Yes!
Which is...
Yeah, this is one of the few food crimes I have actually heard of before you brought it up.
So it's too full of toxins, the shark, to eat fresh out of the water. Mm-hmm. So they bury it in the sand and then hang it up to dry for several months to get the toxins out. It apparently doesn't work all the way because it's still full of ammonia and urea.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen these things hanging up, and they just look sickly and super gross.
Yeah, the flavor is most often described as the flavor and texture together is, they say it's like a urine-soaked mattress. Mm-hmm. And Anthony Bourdain, who, God rest him, ate some truly heinous stuff in his time and seemed okay with pretty much anything, called it the single worst, most disgusting, and terrible thing he'd ever eaten.
Wow.
And this is a guy, I literally saw him once. He was eating with these folks who took a pig's intestine, rolled it up to squeeze all the shit out of it, didn't wash it, and then just served it to him. And he ate it and was like, yum.
Well, that's just good gut bacteria.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, neither am I.
I feel like as a culture, they're slowly trying to push us into believing that eating shit is a good thing, and I'm just not going there.
Yeah, I'm not on board either.
Now, I do want to say, for our listeners, folks, you don't have to eat things that are disgusting, even if an old person offers it to you. Because the only reason they're offering it to you is that an old person offered it to them.
Right.
And they want you to have that same experience because misery loves company. Well, many of our traditions are disgusting.
Sure.
I'm not going to put fermented shark meat on the same footing as slavery and sexism, but we do have to have the good sense to reject things that are abhorrent to us.
Yeah, I get the whole those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it argument, but you can know about stuff without demeaning yourself to actually eating it or participating in it.
You can smell this and know it's not food.
Right.
This is actually, fun fact, it's illegal in the EU, seemingly for no other reason than how disgusting it is.
Do you know how disgusting it has to be made illegal in the EU?
Right, before Belgians won't even touch it.
Right.
Yeah, don't eat this dish. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to eat it because it's tradition. I know we have listeners in Iceland, so I'm calling on you now to reject this disgusting thing and have some McNuggets.
On to sports. Our sport this week, hobby horsing. So we've covered Finnish sports on the show in the past, wife carrying specifically, but tonight I want to talk about hobby horsing. It was devised as a fun, inexpensive alternative to horse riding. Hobby horsing is one of the fastest growing pastimes in Finland, particularly amongst girls. In the sport, participants use hobby horses, usually a plush horse head on a stick, that you ride by skipping with the stick in between your legs. And they travel courses and obstacles similar to those seen in equestrian events, with jumps as high as 1.2 meters. There are around 10,000 participants in the sport in Finland, but it's growing worldwide. Any opinions so far?
Well, I mean, this isn't really a sport, though, is it? It's a child's game. It's a game that you played as a child when you were too poor to have a Nintendo.
I had a thought about this, and I know that I should also be mocking this all because, yes, it is kind of silly and it is kind of simple. But I also think it's kind of cute, and I think the cuteness of it actually increases with the age of the participants.
I don't know. To me, I get a vibe like this is like those kids that start university Quidditch teams.
Okay, maybe. But I think that you might just be being a naysayer.
That was a long walk to get to that joke, but I appreciate it.
All I'm saying is hobby horsing is okay by me.
Honest, it's not hurting anybody. No animals were harmed in the making of this sport. So, what the hell, I'm on board too.
And now on to State Up. The second state in our State Up coverage is Alaska because we are going alphabetically.
So, there's a little fishing village in Alaska called Iliamna, and its great claim to fame is the Iliamna lake monster, known as Ili to many locals, but it's also called Jig-ik-nak in the Cluckin It language, or Iguana in the Aleutian language. It's an aquatic cryptid reported to dwell in the lake there. Now, the lake might be an inland sea, which will become important in a minute. The natives' tales, because they've been reporting seeing this creature for a very long time. And they say that it's between 10 and 30 feet in length with a square-like head, and it smashes its head into canoes and other small boats. They say that it has been sighted many, many times, and including causing a few people's deaths. Now, there's even a marine ecologist named Bruce Wright who, over the years, started as a skeptic and became a full-on monster hunter because having heard so many people's stories and piecing that together with what he knows about marine life, he's a specialist in apex predators. He thinks that this might be a population of gigantic pike that they haven't seen before, or possibly a sleeper shark that has come in through one of the small waterways that connected to the ocean.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen. I mean, that's been known to happen before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a full-on Lake Placid situation here.
So Santa Claus is a man. He lives in North Pole, Alaska. The town of North Pole, Alaska is home to a man named Santa Claus. He changed his name a long time ago and wouldn't even respond to his birth name at this point. He's 75 years old, sits on the city council, uses medical marijuana, voted for Bernie Sanders, is a vegetarian, and lives at poverty level. Also, not particularly fond of the modern, very commercial Christmas, often teaching kids who stop to ask him for gaming consoles that the greatest gift we can give is love. So on the one hand, yes, but love won't run games at 8K, so I'm kidding. Real love will run games at 8K. Honestly, Santa Claus seems delightful. He's the only left-leaning seat on an otherwise conservative city council, and I admire him. I hope you got your COVID vaccine, Santa. Thank you for not being involved in the Yum Nut.
I mean, we always knew that Santa Claus was based because he gives away those toys to the children.
Right.
So that's a real one. Now, I am curious, though. There is a Santa's village in Lapland that they claim is the real Santa's village. Is that a fake Santa's village?
No, this gentleman definitely did change his name, and he's only 75 years old, so it's very, very unlikely that he is the real Santa Claus. I think they can go on using that name.
Some men are born Santa Claus. Some men achieve Santa Claus. Some men have Santa Claus thrust upon them.
Well said, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Some fast facts about Alaska. In Alaska, wolves and moose also have Second Amendment rights.
If only. Did you know, and this is true, it is illegal to whisper in someone's ear while moose hunting in Alaska?
I did not know that. This one's actually kind of true as well. The name Baked Alaska was coined in New Orleans. But I don't see any Alaskans rushing out to correct people, so Alaskans are fucking liars.
True. Did you know Alaska's the only state that allows you to claim your beard as a dependent?
Fascinating. Our final segment tonight, as every week, is Person to Person and Person, where we share your valuable feedback with our audience. You might have noticed we had a new cross-promotion ad in this week's episode, and I wanted to take a moment to thank the bros at the Bros A podcast for swapping promo spots with us.
Yeah, I've listened to the show. It's fun. I recommend anybody who's listening to this show, check out that show.
I also wanted to give a shout out to our most dedicated listener, pretty much from the beginning. So here it goes. Gil, I know you might, quote, still not be sold on Person and Person as a show, end quote. But I love making you laugh, and that's a huge part of what I try to do here every week. Thank you for listening, participating, and generally being awesome. We need to have you back on sometime soon. I love you very much.
The listeners love her.
Folks, that's all the show we have for you tonight. We invite you to participate in Person to Person and Person, and there's so many ways for you to get yourself heard. Send us an email, personandpersonshow@gmail.com. Drop us a voicemail, 541-249-5933. Find us at Twitter @AnchorPersons and on Facebook @Person and Person Show. Check out our website, personandpersonshow.com. Be sure to subscribe, like, review our show. Until next time, this is Gene Person saying you should always end a comedy set with a callback.
And this is Greg Person saying, don't share your hygiene tools. Good night.
So I wonder if that Vietnamese doctor drives a sports car. I mean, holy shiitake. I bet he takes vacations in sunny Portobello. This story has no morale. But shit like this is nothing to truffle with. I really feel like a champion. Anyway, the point is, this story is kind of growing on me.